here at Australia for qualifying for round one of Authentic Racing Competition. Sorry, let me just sort some things out.
Yeah, so
you take over whilst I'm doing
yeah,
this, sorry.
qualifying. Who will we see at the front? I think definitely Mercedes and Red Bull. They've got the best driver lineup and cars, obviously. Who else do you think?
I think Ferrari could be challenging. They're definitely going to be sort of top 6 on the grid. It's going to be down to the drivers, whether they can get any higher. Australia, it's not a track known for Ferrari sort of being a strong circuit for them, but who knows?
Yeah, I agree. It's such a downforce track, and well, obviously Ferrari doesn't really have downforce.
This first car on track is Black Fox at the end of section 1 now. The Williams driver. Williams, I think it's fair to say they're going to be near the back. Well, they're going to be on the back of the grid. It's going to take a very good driver to get them off the back of the grid, because, well, the car just at the end of the day isn't quick enough. I've tried a few laps on the game with the realistic Williams, and it is. I feel like it's fair to say it is a dreadful car to drive. It is definitely a challenge, and with a strong driver, we could maybe see them challenging the Alfa Romeos, but it's gonna take a hell of a lap and maybe some problems from cars further up the grid to give Williams a chance at not qualifying on the back row of the grid. I think Q2's out of the question, really.
Yeah. Something to note, Mike Henning is qualifying but not driving tomorrow. Nick Pancras will drive tomorrow, and Mike won't. And Nick will start at the back. So that's the only driver who will be swapped around tomorrow. Just to make that clear and stuff.
So, who are you expecting to go out and sort of not make it through into Q2 here? So you've got your typical team, sort of the Williams, your Alfa Romeos, your Alpha Tauri, maybe even a Haas, sort of those sort of lower midfield teams, backmarker teams. Who's your best sort of? Who do you reckon's not going to make it through?
A driver who I haven't seen much in preseason testing is the Racing Point driver Shisui Alaki. I thought Racing Point was gonna go with a different lineup, but they chose Shisui Alaki. Yeah, it's just he might have been sandbagging, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes with some drivers.
Black Fox says, "Oh, wow, he's upside down."
And he's out. What's next guy? It's actually his teammate that's going to be next. I'm going to quickly catch this.
He's upside down.
Oh yeah, that's not looking good. The Halo has saved him there. That's not how you want to start your season. He had I think it's had one of the weaker preseason testings, and I feel like based on some of his preseason testing, he's lived up to sort of some of the expectations there, crashing out already. So that's our first car not making it through to Q2. Who'll be the next 4?
Ooh, oh, wow, that's Haas in P2. That's quite a quick lap.
1.5 seconds off, but we really don't have a clue on sort of the performance gaps at this stage of the season. I don't know what is the running order, because I've looked online for it. I can't actually find I probably should have looked on my career mode, go back to season 1 performance charts. But what team would you say? What's the running order?
Okay, so from fastest to slowest, it's Mercedes, Red Bull, surprisingly, Ferrari, McLaren, Renault, just behind McLaren. I don't even saw a difference in it. And then Racing Points, then Alpha Tauri, followed by Alfa Romeo, then Haas, and obviously in last place it is Williams.
Yeah, that's really bad from Haas there. They definitely could be sort of contending to just fighting through into Q2. But I mean, with the lap we've seen set so far, that is quite a good lap, and still P2. He's 1.1 seconds ahead of his teammate, which is huge at this stage of the session. But of course, things can change. His teammate may have made a mistake on their lap, may have had traffic, may have been slightly worn tyres. So all these variables come into it, which is why it's crucial to just be able to nail the laps in when you sort of have the opportunity.
And I feel Magic Alonso crossing the line, P2, with a 21.6.
Very good lap for mediums.
Oh, he's on mediums, so I didn't actually notice.
Still, I'd say that's still 1.3 seconds off the Red Bull, so still, even if they put the softs on, that's still not a great lap. But it's definitely not a terrible lap. It's clear of the Haas by 2 tenths, but when they put on the softs, I'd say that's definitely a solid lap.
Yeah, definitely. He obviously, well, not obviously, but I'm almost certain he will go through to Q2 and to Q3. As a Ferrari is a Ferrari, so. Yeah,
I mean, Jamil F1 has done a lap on the mediums as well and has gone slower, so in the Red Bull car, so it is definitely a good lap there from Magic Alonso.
Someone said I should watch Mercedes in a lap, so.
Legend is currently on a flying lap, so let's see what he's doing here, how he's going to go. Heading down to turn 3. It's a tricky corner, taking quite a bit of curb there. Again, taking quite a bit of curb, just trying to get the car straightened out on exit, keeping it flat through this next section, trying to maximise your speed, not clipping the grass too much. Taking a lot of curb, you have to take a lot of curb around here in Australia. Just sort of maximise your apex speed and just limit the time you lose. I mean, that Mercedes should have no problem really sort of pushing track limits. Obviously being one of the quickest cars, most downforce, you'd have to say. It's definitely a car that should be fairly easy to drive. By no means sort of simple, but I'd say the car that you can throw around the most would be the Mercedes. I guess Red Bull would be fairly similar, always been known for having quite a good car. Obviously this year in real life not so much, but in the game I would guess that car is still fairly planted.
Yeah, definitely. Something I've looked at the R&D in career mode a bit, and 19.8. That's quite a good lap.
Amazing.
Yeah, he should be able to go through.
Yeah, they won't need to set another lap. I feel like top two at the moment easily won't have to set another lap. As that's McLaren going P3 on the soft tyres. It's a very good lap there from Ashy Boy. Putting himself ahead of a Ferrari and a Red Bull, both of which are mediums, but still, it's still a very good lap.
Yeah, definitely. He might go through to Q2 with only that lap.
You would expect to see the McLaren sort of easily making it through into Q2. But at the end, yeah, it depends sort of how track sort of builds up throughout the session, see if the track conditions get a bit better. And his teammate is currently struggling quite a bit. I just watched him invalidate through the high-speed chicane. And their teammate is backed out of their lap. Both Renaults currently in the bottom 5, yet to set lap times.
Oh, that is Renault really close, yeah.
Oh, a bit of a lock-up as well. Maybe that just put him a bit less sort of bravery, a bit less courageous going into that braking zone after getting such a close call with the Haas. Maybe slightly more nervous, but still made the corner quite easily. Further through the lap, still looking fairly clean. It's hard to tell in their first lap sort of how they're doing. Tiny lock up there, but of course with ABS, also you're going to get your lockups through a lot of the corners, and a lot of the time it won't slow down. In the race where you really have to manage that to manage tyre wear. Oh, and that big moment there. That all started when they didn't take enough apex at the first left there. They just didn't take enough apex and was slightly offline, and they would have hit the Ferrari. That was a bit scary. So this has been a messy lap from KJ Elting so far. As that is the second Mercedes, also on the soft tyres, behind a Red Bull, and at 9/10 off their teammate. It's a huge gap. As Altink goes up to P4.
That's quite
Solid lap,
surprising.
considering
Yeah.
the mistakes they made, that's a great lap. That lap without the mistake, I'd say, is up there with the Mercedes, which is like obviously only the iQuicks lap, but that's still to be anywhere to be 4/10 off Mercedes. That's still amazing. Whether you made a mistake or not, that is amazing.
On board with Wushel, he gets P14. I don't know, what was his
And
lap?
down to 15 now. Not looking good for Wushel so far. They're gonna have to put the softs on at the end of the session.
Oh, he's going for another lap, I think. He's still in hot lap mode.
I don't think they've got the ERS to do it though. I'm not sure. I don't know how much you'd use in the lap, but it depends how many lap. If they've only done one hot lap mode so far, one hot lap so far, then they're not gonna have the ERS to complete this lap. And who knows about fuel? They are going a 10th quicker though, so who knows? I may be completely wrong.
Yeah, I can't see the delta on their steering wheels for some reason. I never.
I've got up the lap data from the spectator menu, which is what I'm using.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were.
The steering wheel.
That's quite. Oh yeah, look at this ERS. It's almost at 0.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make it through this next section. I think, but down the straight they're gonna have nothing. I don't think you can sort of regenerate enough into this last braking zone. I may be wrong though.
He's at 14%.
It's gonna be tight.
Yeah,
I
but
think they're gonna do it actually.
when the ERS is under 10%, its power is reduced by half. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's quite
I'm learning things. This is great. This is. Wow. I would have become a better commentator and driver through this session. I wouldn't have expected that, but yeah, that's great bit of knowledge. I'll make sure to remember that in all future races. Yeah, so considering that then, it is a solid lap there from Wushel. On the mediums as well, P12, I was saying that maybe at a risk of going out of Q2, well, not making it into Q2, and at the moment it's looking pretty good. If they put on the soft tyre at the end of this session, they should be fairly safe getting through. As Ferrari currently P4, just noticed, and they're 2/10 off the Mercedes. So again, that's the top three teams at the moment looking fairly quick, apart from Legend, who is 5/10 clear at the moment. But with that Mercedes car and with that driver, you've got to say they're looking pretty good for pole position at the moment. But of course, we got Q2 and Q3 to go still. Anything can happen. They may make a mistake in Q2, crash the car, and not even make it through into Q3. So anything can happen especially around a track like Australia. We saw from Black Fox, you make one mistake, you're off. I mean, we saw KJ Elton nearly make the exact same mistake as Jamil F1 has gone up to P3 in the Red Bull. Red Bull at the moment looking like the most sort of consistent driver pairing. Both drivers have been 3 10ths, which is very strong for the team.
About the most consistent thing you said, they're the only team with 2 platinum cards that were posted on the ARC Instagram page.
So, well, if iQuicks doesn't perform well enough at Mercedes, we could have a Constructors' Championship fight. You never know. But it really depends. iQuicks, they may have just done that one bank lap, maybe a bit heavy on the fuel, maybe a bit conservative, just making sure not to invalidate, saving tyres for later on. So I could be saying all this and iQuicks ending up being sort of front row. But you don't know what these drivers are doing. It's fair to say sort of the lower teams, your midfield teams, your back markers, they are pushing to the limit in this session. But when you come to your top 3 teams, your Mercedes, your Red Bull, your Ferrari, they are going to be sort of maybe playing some mind games here, trying to trick us all, and make us think. As Telegraph is not trying to trick us all, that's Kerem. Amazing lap there. That is. I'm lost for words. That's 7/10 off Legend.
In a racing
words,
point as well.
Was
oh my gosh.
That is an outstanding lap time. There's Jamil as retired in the pit lane there, just sort of, I think, planning on just watching the rest of the session. No need to go out again, they're pretty safe. Well, they were safe, unless all the midfield cars can do that. They are definitely safe. It's going to be close. iQuick stay in the pit lane. Let's see what the other midfield teams. Oh no, that is iQuick's coming out now. So, that Mercedes driver not feeling they're quite safe enough.
Oh, you should be safe with that margin.
You'd say so. You'd definitely say so, but I mean, based off Grem's lap, if that is just a track acclimatization, just a track getting better, or just to drive it, it's hard to say exactly what that lap time is. If that lap time is pure driver performance, that is an outstanding lap time.
Yeah.
Either if the track is improving, then you can that can account for a few temps. Either way, iQuicks just almost collided and may have touched with one of the AlphaTauris, I believe that was. Or it may have been a Red Bull actually, it's hard to tell on the mini-map. I can't quite see, I believe it was an AlphaTauri. I believe it was the AlphaTauri of Sand.
Yeah, it must be.
That could be interesting. As Felix goes up to P13. Solid lap there. Looks like they're going again. So clearly you do have enough ERS to do one more lap around here. But of course with the reduction in power towards the lower ERS percentages, it's not going to be quite as good, and again with tyre wear, it's not going to be quite as strong. As Magic Alonso is that going P2 there. So I think it's fair to say the track is improving.
You know, the weather report has been published in one of the channels, and it says from light clouds to, cloudy, and then cloudy again. So,
as the track's getting a bit colder.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, crash!
KJ must
close.
be, or not? No.
That was a massive save from Felix there, who's invalidated their lap time, so they will just have to hope that no one beats them. A maximum of 2 drivers can go ahead of them before they end up in the drop zone. But yeah, that Felix will not improve. Mistake on the exit of the quick chicane has cost them a chance at improving there. They're very lucky not to crash the car, to be honest. They're very sideways.
I'm on board
some
with
of these surprises.
I'm with Plusenball. I think Plusenball, the Haas driver, he needs to set another lap time in. I think the McLaren might push him out. Maybe one of the Alfa Romeos.
Ducky is on a lap time. Atix is in the pit lane now, so mixed. As Willem has given up there, they will be going out. Ducky has run out of fuel. Ducky's run out of fuel. Ducky's out of the session. Ducky will not improve there. Run out of fuel on the main straight there, and that's cost them a possible Q2. Both Alfa Romeo's out. Both Williams out.
I think, yeah, the McLaren is through. It doesn't matter which lap time he sets.
They're going to P10 anyway.
Yeah.
Another consistent lineup there. Sort of both drivers quite close to each other.
And TTV iQuicks into the pits.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the Ferrari too? Yes.
Black Fox they've done their bit in this session, and they've left, so.
Yep.
That's your bottom 5 there.
That is the bottom 5, so that is well, pretty much the teams we predicted would go out.
The Williams, the Alfa Romeos. Now we get a chance to have a brief look at the Williams to Alfa Romeo pace. It's about 7 tenths there between between Atix and Make. So it's a pretty big gap. But of course, with the actual full season driver in the Williams, if they are better, then they may be able to get a bit closer. But I don't see Williams making themselves or getting themselves off that back row of the grid anytime soon. That car just isn't quick enough. It's getting very cloudy.
Yeah, it's starting to get cloudy real quick.
Should I wait for the session to end now? Got 30
Yeah,
seconds left.
we're waiting
Quite
for
right.
the drivers in the pits
It's,
to retire.
Yeah, we could just wait the 20 seconds. It doesn't matter either way. Bit quicker as I retire, but after them at the end of the day.
And that is still one left to retire.
23 viewers on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is
I must say.
something else I didn't expect.
But yeah, that's Q1 alone. I had to go back down to 22 now to make me look incorrect. That's great. But yeah, it's a great amount of viewers for the first event. Is amazing.
It's not
Predictably, that
even a
won't go
race.
up. Yeah, it's qualifying. The race tomorrow, you can expect a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it will be so exciting.
Yeah. So, Legend leads that session by about a half a second to Magic Alonso. So Mercedes flexing their muscles in Q1. I've got a feeling there may be a bit more pace in that car, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so the drivers who are out are Black Fox, Mike Henning, Atix or Atix, TM Ducky, and Willem van der Schoor. Mike Henning, the reserve driver, unfortunately couldn't really prove himself to other teams or his own team. Well, it was
4
still,
seconds off.
yeah, but still was a better performance than Black Fox.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say there, Black Fox he's not looking too good, keeping the seat. But I mean, he's done the best he can, and I'm sure he'll want to improve. I'm sure he'll put a lot of effort into improving.
Yeah, I think so.
Said bad lap, so let's see what's more to come from the records.
He was pretty. How do you say that? He really wanted to prove himself. He was really dedicated to drive in this league. So that's a positive, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was a Red Bull that we're going to see first out on track, and it's the Red Bull of De Gek. I'm probably butchered that pronunciation. These are all new names to me, so apologies for all the ones that I get wrong.
Okay, so Jens is out first, the Red Bull driver, then followed by Je suis Alaki in the Racing Points. Ooh, he's on the mediums. Interesting.
What do you reckon the strategy is around here? Do you reckon mediums? I mean, as far as I'm aware, it is a 2-stop either way. Starting on the mediums, you're going to pit twice in this race. I no, I think it's just, or is it? Oh, I can't. It might be a 1-stop actually.
Yeah, it's a 1-stop, but there's that can still be removed. So
yeah,
depending on the content.
about having 2 separates.
Yeah, exactly. That's
mediums are the better race tyres here, apparently, according to ST Gaming. So
yeah, it is.
Let's see what people will do. Obviously, predictably, some of the lower teams will try to, like the AlphaTauri's both gone for the softs, predictably. They don't want to get through. The Haas that's got through has done a great job. Wow, that was Mercedes getting a bit brave behind Jamila. So let's see. First driver to set a lap, I believe, has just begun. And Jens coming down towards turn 3 at the moment. As that's a Racing Point spun, and it is Je suis Alaki who has spun around exit turn 2.
Damage, I think.
Badly. Yep. Missing their left-hand side. It's like they just have a very small amount of end element there, so it looks orange to me on the left-hand side. Oh no, perhaps they've got a bit of. No, they're definitely missing a bit of the wing element there, so I'd say orange for sure. They're just gonna corner cut their way back to the pit lane. It looks like.
Okay, so both Mercedeses are on medium tires, so But it's the beginning of the session, so they might put on a set of softs at the end.
Yeah, they may even go out on the softs and then change back to and just not complete the lap at the end if they don't need to. That's definitely a possibility. Sort of keep an eye on who's improving, who isn't.
Okay, so Jens, the first one to set a lap, will set a 1 minute and 21.0.
For the mediums, that's a solid lap. Definitely solid. As they inherit the next lap immediately, so no second run for them.
There is a... Oh, that's Breerort.
And he has crashed their exit.
Yeah, that's nasty.
What do you want to see? So that's the second driver to crash at that corner today. So we had Black Fox in the first session.
Ouch,
Who
that
do you
is...
reckon will be the driver to crash there in the final session? Maybe we'll have one per session.
Okay, so it's definitely gonna have to be one of the top tier cars, maybe like the Mercedes, Red Bull, or the other Ferrari.
It's a good lap there from Jamil. 20.0. That's about, I think that's about 2 tenths off of what Legend set in Q1. So that's looking pretty good for him. But of course on the soft tyres, so they will not have the choice of tyres.
Yeah, they...
Come back to like them.
Oh, and that... Ooh, the McLaren Ashy boy was a bit sideways. I think he's on a lap. Must be.
I believe so too. You've got quite high ERS, so you'd imagine so. That's one of the Renaults just slowing down there to get a gap. That's Elting. As they head around in their lap then. I'll keep an eye on them, see how they're going.
I think someone said his mediums were already used. I'm not sure whose mediums it must be then.
They must mean that Jamil already used his medium tyres in Q1, which is why they're not using them in Q2.
Yeah, that's... yeah.
Perhaps he just preferred to start on the softs, burnt the mediums in Q1 just to get them done with. I must say, going on board with Elting is truly a pleasure. It is just amazing driving. Every single corner is to perfection. I believe they actually just... And yeah, as I said that, they made a mistake.
Commentator's
they got
curse.
a bit wide on entry, clipped the grass, and they just got a bit wide on their apex, and then wide on the exit and validating.
Karam also on medium tires. I can't see his sector split times, but he's at the end of the lap anyway.
Coming out through the final corner. And maximise, that's a crucial corner of the circuit. You really have to nail that if you want to be up near the front. And P7. I think it's fair to say, I think the Racing Point's going to have to go on the softs to get through. Because, well, they're behind, unless they made a mistake on that lap, be behind in AlphaTauri. It's not going to be quite good enough. But that's a very good lap from Felix to be just behind a Mercedes. The Mercedes was on the mediums, but still, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm saying that they're not really a fan of the medium tyres. And that they're happy just with the soft. I must say this is getting very cloudy this session. So the conditions should be very quick at the end.
Just sweet Lucky is on very dirty tires for some reason.
Must have had an off somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't see a yellow flag, I think. I don't know. No, there weren't yellow flags.
So let's see, what are the drivers who are out on track at the moment? We've got a lot in the pits. Got a few out on track. Rem invalidated this lap. Looks like they're just preparing for another lap, are they? Yep, they don't look like that. Definitely not pitting out. Interesting tactic here. Not quite sure what they're doing. Are they slipstreaming their teammate? Yes, they are. As yet, Karem has just slipstreamed their teammate, getting Jusfialaki up to P10. As they then, a bit wide there. That lap, I believe, was that? No, that lap couldn't have been a proper lap. Maybe they're just slipstreaming the start of their lap. That makes more sense, yeah. Because that was not a good lap. Henk has gone P10 on the mediums, which is solid. Drivers at the moment who I'd say are pretty solid and safe to get through on the mediums. I'd say Eltink's looking pretty good, although it's, actually I take that back. I think Eltink could be under threat if they stay on the mediums, unless they can go quicker. With the McLaren going quicker, you'd guess that Karem, if they chose to go on the soft, based on their Q1 performance, would be able to go quicker. And then you never know if someone lower down the order brings out a flying lap that's just amazing. You'd imagine that. You'd imagine they'd beat them. Only top 3 out there is the Red Bull. Oh, if they've nearly just spun. That was a close call there. I believe they backed out of this lap. Yes, they have.
Which
Pit? They don't really need to do another lap, I don't think. And yet they pit.
must be Jens then, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Magic Alonso is finishing his lap. He did a purple sector 2, I think.
Oh, that could be up near the front. Oh, that's 2. That's a solid lap.
That really is good.
Second off Jamil, but it's very good.
Should be able.
The Ferrari, I'd say, would be quite strong in sector 2 because it's quite a high-speed sector. So, I believe that it still has its very good top speed in the game.
Yeah, it still has. I think mid-October it will be nerfed. That's what Codemaster said.
Well, if I with the Ferrari drivers is going to miss a race, please be before mid-October, please.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah, you can do your thing.
Yeah. Let's have a look. As Jamil has comfortable with their lap, so retiring just like in Q1. And all very happy there. Any drivers on their way out? Ashley Boy is currently out on track and improving significantly, but their first lap was, I think it's fair to say, a bad lap. 128, they've clearly had a mistake or have not pushed on that lap.
Yeah, just a banker to get at least P14 because the Ferrari is retired.
Yeah. Sand, I don't know quite what they're doing. Maybe they're just doing the one lap in this session to save tyres in case they get into Q3. Which is maybe, or they've used up all their tyres already and they've only got one set left for this session.
Oh, P5 for Ashley.
That's a great lap there. Nearly on the Red Bull. Red Bull, of course, I believe their lap time was set on the mediums. Yes, it was. So, but still, again, that was a good lap. Getting ahead of Eltink, which I think is crucial. Really got to push Eltink into going onto the soft tyres to make it through. Because if he is a very quick driver, as he is believed to be, you're going to have to put him under pressure. You can't let him just have the pick of the tyres that he wants. So yeah, the only way you're going to beat him is by pushing him. And at the moment, the McLaren boys are doing a great job of that. Renault powered cars, so same power unit in those cars to Eltink. So in theory, the tracks that they are good at and bad at should be fairly similar. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, this is just Australia. It'll be very interesting to see how they do at the future events. Of course, we've got tracks like Monza. That's going to be interesting. Here's a question. Is Monza and Spa, are they before the mid-October?
No.
That's a great lap there from iQuicks. I think that's very similar to the lap set by Legend in Q1.
Well, I think so.
If not better. As Atix has left the session, they went out in Q1, so that's all good. I'm guessing they were just watching to see
Yeah,
what was happening.
spying.
Probably
on the others.
Yeah, seeing because I mean I think it's fair to say one of the Alfa Romeo's rivals. Because I think Alfa Romeo could get in the mix with the Haas cars this season. But the Haas car is quite a good car, as you see. Plusion. I'm sorry again. Plusion Ball. They're starting the lap now. They're warming their tyres aggressively. As that's an Alfa Romeo, not an Alfa Romeo, Alpha Tauri. The mistakes of the Alphas already creeping in. So that's Sam starting their lap now. But Alfa Romeo, damn it, I'm really messing up these. I've called an Alpha Tauri and now Racing Point both the Alfa Romeo. This is a great job here. But just be lucky, very close to the back of the Alpha Tauri. So could perhaps get, as they're not pushing, so perhaps going for another outlap, just to get some temperature into the tyres. And no, they're cutting. Oh yeah, I think they've realised that. Oh, and they just hit the wall there perhaps and broken their wing. Let's have a look. Oh, looks good from the outboard. But they've realised they're going to have to cut corners to get around the start-finish line again, which is crucial.
I think he might be fine with yeah, he's just warming up his tires. He still has 30 seconds for me. I don't know what your time says.
I've got 30 seconds as well, but
okay.
That's going to be tight for time still, I think, for just to be a lackey.
Ooh, yeah.
Because they're just coming into, they're about halfway through sector 3 now. Well, they were definitely cutting corners earlier in the lap to get up, so maybe they were panicking and they shouldn't have been, or I'm just making stuff up, you never know.
No, he's not gonna make it. Oh, I thought you were talking about Kai at first.
Yeah. Let's have a look at drivers setting lap times now. Damn, Sam goes P12, they will not make it through. As Eltink will not make it through either, P11.
Oh, what has he done? Has he crashed? Must be.
It looks like they have. I need to go on board the Racing Point here to see. Looks like they've gone straight on here at turn 3, and whoa, that's deep in the barriers.
That's not.
So that's a strange place to crash. I can understand maybe having a spin there or something, but it's quite a slow speed corner. I don't see how you could go in with that much speed.
No, neither.
So perhaps they missed their braking point and had a massive lock-up. That's my only guess.
Or maybe he just bottled it and smashed it in the wall. Frustrations.
Yeah. Perhaps they invalidated and just turn 2 and thought, you know, I can't be able to set the rest of this lap. Yeah, I think that's tough, but at least they will be able to start on the tyres that they choose. And I believe there was a timing glitch, because just being lucky did actually start a lap. But they've invalidated it, so it doesn't matter. Drivers who... Okay, the Haas car could well get through into Q3 here.
Who's still on the lap? No.
Sam,
wait.
There is...
Sam
isn't on the flyer. So yeah. Fusion Ball is through. That's amazing.
Oh, a Haas car.
One Haas car out in Q3, the other through... one Haas car out in Q1, the other into Q3.
Oh, that's really, really good. They surely
amazing.
Did, with their budgets, they spent it well.
Yeah, let's clearly focused it on the one driver. Yeah, that is interesting. That's another thing with the budgets. Some of the teams, low down teams, will have to buy strategically. So they could go with 2 mediocre drivers, or they could go for 1 great driver and 1 not so great driver. So that's going to be one of the big things that we will see. So at Haas, it definitely looks like they've gone two very different ways. But both McLarens through into Q3. I believe, other than the top... Okay, so... Yeah, the teams to get through into Q3 are... The only teams that have both cars through are Mercedes, Red Bull and McLaren. As 1 Racing Point doesn't make it through. 1 Ferrari doesn't make it through. 1 Renault doesn't make it through. Both Alpha Tauris out, with Felix starting P11. That's good for strategy.
Should be fine, yeah.
Only 2 drivers to qualify in that session that made it through into Q3 on the medium tyres are Legend and Yenza, so... Don't know.
Maybe... I don't know, it's a weird strategy. Because
it's alternative for sure.
definitely. Okay, so the Mercedes of TTVI Quicks gets first position, then followed by Jamil, Magic Alonso, Legend, Kerem, Jens, Ashi, Wushel, Henk Pieter, Plugenbol, Felix, Je suis lucky, KGL Tink, and Samdi and Bouillarort. The last 5 are out and will get a free choice of tyre in the race tomorrow.
Could we see any drivers maybe perhaps start on the hard and try to go really long into the race? Perhaps hope for a late safety car? Maybe one of the back, maybe a Williams or something may try that, just to sort of, because especially sort of the Williams, the Alfa Romeos are going to have to do something a bit different to have any chance of points, I think it's fair to say, because both cars looked out of it. Yeah, these drivers, they're going to want to prove themselves to the top teams. So you've got your Williams drivers, your Alfa Romeo drivers. At the end of the day, they're not going to be competing for Q3s, and rarely going to be competing for points. So they're really going to have to just try and do what they can with the machinery they've got and impress the other teams, the bigger teams. Because so far, I don't really see a big team at the moment, like a Ferrari, a Mercedes, or a Red Bull, that's got a driver that is underperforming. We'll have to wait, of course, for this session to see that. Yeah, it's very interesting at the moment to see sort of driver performances and, of course, car performances, as the Mercedes cars came out very close there.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen that, I think, that close.
That was strange. Yeah, first car out on track is Kerem. Showed amazing pace in Q1. Solid pace in Q2, and, well, I think they could be a contender for best of the rest.
Ooh, yeah, he's been improving a lot on this game. He's surely better than he was on the last game. I've driven with him so many times, and just he constantly gets better. It's quite cool to see, someone who keeps getting better and better. It's inspirational, definitely.
Definitely. Like, if you keep improving, you're going to continue to keep improving because you've sort of got that good mindset, and when you're improving, you feel better, and then you drive quicker, so you feel better, and it's a positive feedback loop. And it works the opposite way though. So if you drive worse, you feel worse, so you drive worse. It goes both ways. But Kerem looking good. Plugenbol looking outstanding at the moment. I think some of the bigger teams, certainly the midfield teams, will be looking at him after this as a standout driver. For sure. I think it's fair to say they're looking at P10 on the grid. I struggle to see them maybe getting ahead of a Renault or a McLaren. Realistically, the other two teams, maybe a Racing Point, but I don't see it happening.
Nah,
I must say, the big sort of backing up of cars at the final couple of corners, just getting themselves into some space. Australia, a track where you do not want the slipstream.
No.
Bertier is definitely much worse. It is definitely not.
There's something else I've noticed by racing quite a lot is that slipstream is so ineffective on this game. It only gains you like a tenth at the Brazil Straits, for example.
Yeah, like I think the only track where I can think of the slipstream being a taller thing is Italy. But you're never, like, you could take away slipstream and you'd still rather have the slipstream around Italy than not. It's that sort of, it's one of those tracks where just the slipstream is amazing. It just gives you that sort of, that pull essentially down the straight. It's that's a McLaren of Ashley Boyd that's made a mistake. Looks like they're just staying out of the way for their teammate Wushel, who comes through. Good teamwork there from the McLarens, just keeping out of each other's way. Alfa Cremon at 120.8, that's a solid lap. That's about a second off of what we've seen the Mercedes boys been able to do. Which is what you would expect of the Racing Point as their teammate leaves the session. But also drivers do go out in Q2.
The Racing Point, I think he said something in the Discord about his fastest lap. I'm gonna have to check.
That is an outstanding lap from Legend there.
Oh.
A 19.4. That's 4 tenths quicker than any lap we've seen so far today. That's an amazing lap. That's all I can say for that one. That was set on obviously soft tyres, everyone at this stage. And Ferrari of Magic Alonso, it's a decent lap. Could have got Jamil currently in a great position, splitting the Mercedes. Sort of doing a Verstappen job at the moment of just trying to split the quicker cars, because realistically they're too quick to get them both. So when one of them has a bit of bad luck, that's when you've got to get it.
Okay, so I've checked the Discord, and the fastest lap that Karam has done is a 19.9 in a Racing Point.
That is an amazing lap, if he's able to do that.
Yeah. He just needs to do it in qualifying now. Then he should be fine.
If he can do that, he could be up there sort of battling with the Ferraris. Yeah. Obviously you can see that Ashley Boy has made a mistake. I'm guessing these drivers that are still in the pit lane invalidated their first runs. I don't know if Henke actually went out actually, but he's in the pit lane. I know Jens did go out initially, because I remember seeing them at that final corner sort of backing up the pack. As it looks like McLaren was off then. Was that Ashley?
Yeah, Ashley.
Off? That's his second off of the day. I'm guessing he won't have to fuel to do another lap. Unless he really saves, so I guess he's probably going to come into the pits now and just prepare for the final laps. Best of the rest, of course, will be P6 position today, I'm guessing, once Jens has set a competitive lap time. Because, of course, of the Ferrari going out in Q2, one less top car, which means it is top 5 will be made up of the top teams, at least for now. Until the performance patch comes along, anything can happen. That will be honestly interesting to see the difference. So the swing in the championship. Will we see a driver, the Ferrari drivers? Surely it's going to be like Gasly getting demoted from Red Bull to AlphaTauri mid-season. That's what it's going to feel like for those drivers, because they will be going from a car that is a top 6 contender easily to a car that is struggling to fight for best of the rest. And in tracks where an engine is required, they're going to really struggle. Yeah, let's see. Jens on an out lap, about to start their lap now. Only driver out on track at the moment, so I guess we'll watch them for now. Well, not quite enough apex at turn 1. Still safe. I think they're doing it fairly safe at the moment, just to get a lap in, because that Red Bull just getting a lap in should be able to get P5 at least to begin with. Pedaling through, just clipping the curbs, playing safe, just not risking validation so far. Through that one, you don't want to push it too hard through there. Risk losing some grip. Through here, you really want to go over that curb as much as you can, and they do. Through now, this long right hander staying tight to the right, trying to keep the shortest distance to the corner. Now getting right in over the curb again, maybe not quite as much curb as they could have taken. Now they've got to focus on an exit there, and now again taking the tightest line just to shorten the distance between corners. Turning in, a lovely bit of apex there, and again, lovely apex. That is pretty much as quick as you can go through there. I couldn't fault that chicane. Now on the brakes again, and there it's gone. There, you can see they missed their apex that little bit, and you can see that pushed them wide on exit, and that cost them a few temps. And apart from that, this lap has been a very good lap. And
missed.
Again going wide. A few apexes that they could have taken a bit more of, but in the long run that is a strong lap, and P5 as predicted there. So take out the mistakes they made in that lap. That's definitely up there with Jamil in the battle for the front row, which would be very interesting to see.
Yep, definitely.
Back up to 23 viewers again. Notice we had a brief spell where we dropped a few, but we're back at 23 now, which is amazing to see. Tuning in for the Q3 session, the battle for pole position. Who is your prediction for pole?
Legend, definitely. I think I'm 99% sure.
It's going to take a hell of a lap from anyone. Because if Legend can go quicker, he's got that. It looks like he's gone out early, perhaps, just to ensure that they get a clean run in, as they are starting their lap now. Could they encounter some traffic, as or perhaps slightly not enough curb for turn 1. They could have pushed it a bit more.
Oh, that's
not quite a slipstream, more of a scare from their teammate. Small lock up that gets it into the apex, doesn't run it too wide, clips the grass perhaps, but just maximising their turn in. Amazing job here, much more precise than I could ever drive. It's amazing to watch these lap times. And oh, that's a mistake. And I believe that purple sector 1, but I think this lap, well, I'm guessing they're actually fueled for 2 runs here, going out so early. And again, another small lock-up, just missing their apex. But the fascinating thing is they're making these small mistakes, but they know how to deal with it, and they still carry the speed through, as they're still improving. And another strong chicane there. These drivers really nailing that chicane so far. And looks to me that Legend is going to set this lap time. A small improvement that it is. It definitely could have been quicker. Close to invalidation there, really pushing the limits. Small bit of apex curb there. And really got to get to the apex there of the final corner. Perhaps sniff of a slipstream there. And it is going to be a 19.2. That's an outstanding lap time. That is an amazing lap time there from Legend. I mean, I hate to say, I think maybe a 19 flat is possible there, but obviously that's down to Legend. They know the quickest way around this track, as they've just proven. So that may be the best that they could have done, and maybe I'm just making up places where they could have improved.
Yeah, that was just such a good lap. Only a small mistake at the exit somewhere. Yeah, could have been a 19 flat, as you said.
Yeah,
but
just missing their apex a few times. Maybe they prefer that safer route, just feel a bit more confident. But I must say they were, how they didn't clip the grass on entry, so many times they got close. I'm going to watch the lap here with iQuicks just to see the different lines. And it's visibly slower. It feels like the car's just bogging down a bit more at the apexes. Maybe just going gear too high, perhaps. They're still improving though, so still looking for that, and that's an invalidation. iQuicks will not get pole position or the front row. So that's perhaps a shock from Australia there. It is a Mercedes front row lockout. Jamil currently between them, but of course we could even see any more drivers get between them. Magic Alonso has not gone out, well they've gone out but they've pitted for the final runs, so they will not improve, so just trying to hold on to perhaps a P4. I think Magic Alonso's looking at a third row there, P5. I doubt the midfield car could get quite close to them, as can I point out Henk currently ahead of, as Henk going straight on turn 1, just getting out of everyone's way. Got ahead of Karem on that lap. Karem yet to set their final lap though, so who knows what could happen.
Collision ball across the line.
So Jamil happy with their current lap, or maybe they've invalidated. I'm gonna guess it's invalidation, but their car's gonna block Karem. Jamil's car has blocked Karem, and that is session over for Karem.
Damn.
That's not great. That is a retired car there blocking Karem. So yeah, that's why I don't really like seeing people retire on track, because it does cause incidents like that, because the driver has no control and the AI doesn't get out of the way. That's why if I ever retire, I always do it in the pit lane, out of everyone's way.
Yeah, or just smash it in the wall, but not in the race.
No, obviously not in the race. Cause an unnecessary safety car. Jens, currently purple sector 2, a 10th up. They could well get Magic Alonso here. I think iQuicks could be a bit of a stretch. As heading through the final sector now, it's looking good. That Rebel car looks pretty cooked up, to be fair, at this stage of the session. Yeah, it's a decent final corner, nothing special there. As they now head across the line, and it's P4. Oh, so close, 3 milliseconds off iQuicks. Oh, if I'm right, and they did make a small mistake at that final corner, that could have hurt them a lot. It wasn't so much a mistake, it was just a not maximising, I'd say. It's not quite on the limit.
And Pollution Ball isn't gonna set a lap, so that's the order.
Pollution Ball, sorry. P9 ahead of a McLaren, which is... I wouldn't have predicted that going for this. I definitely would not have predicted a Haas P9. That's just an outstanding session there. If I had to say a driver of this, the qualifying session, I would it would be tough to say between Legend and Fusion Ball, because given the machinery that Legend has, you kind of expect that sort of lap. Given the machinery that Fusion Ball has, I did not expect that kind of lap, and that just insane to see a Haas up there in, you know, and the actual lap time itself is amazing. A 121.0. I mean, just he's 400, no, half a tenth off getting P8. He could have got both McLarens, and I think it's fair to say the McLarens aren't exactly the car you expect to see being beaten by a Haas car. But that is insane. Yeah, you got to feel bad for Rem there, getting blocked by a retired car. And Henk, strong session there, P6 on the third row. Got that best of the rest spot, so strong session there for them. So yeah, it is Mercedes Red Bull, very mixed at the front.
That will be insanely exciting tomorrow.
Indeed.
Oh, that looks so good.
It's going to be a close race. I've got a feeling that Legend may run away with it. But is Legend starting on the medium tyre? I think he may well be starting on the mediums.
Yeah, he did.
So, on the race start, if Jamil can get him off the launch, could we see a Red Bull challenging for the win? I'd love to say yes. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a hell of a race if Jamil can take the fight to Legend. For sure.
Oh yeah. Let's hope so. And Mercedes dominance, right?
Yes. Before the performance patch, that's the time when you've got to do it. Because once performance patch is in, I don't think Mercedes is going to be touchable. I think it's going to be front row lockdowns everywhere, to be honest.
Oof, yeah. It's definitely... I can't say it, but I'm most definitely thinking that Mercedes is going to run away with it. And also Legend.
Definitely. It's a shame to say that, but at the same time, you've got to give credit. He's done an amazing job. But at the end of the day, we're still going to have great racing for the podium positions. We've got 2 teams. We could have 5 drivers fighting for P2, which would be insane.
Okay, so basically that was the stream. I want to thank all of you who watched it. There were 24 people in the live stream at the same time, so that is insane for a new league. And I think more than 100 comments, so I want to thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow.